And thanks for joining us on your channel of choice, Africa Independent Television, AIT. Let me welcome you to the signature show this first day of August 2021. My name is Mwabweze Njoko. After one of his visits to the camp of some of the bandits killing, kidnapping for ransom, and making life unbearable for many Nigerians, Islamic cleric Abubakar Gumi said that Nigerian security operatives are involved in the kidnappings going on around the country. Now, former military strongman Sani Abacha had also said that there was no long-lasting security threat that did not have the finger of the government in it. Now, as if to prove Sani Abacha right, a well-respected Nigerian police officer, Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari, was last week indicted by an American court for allegedly being complicit in fraud involving international fraudster Ramon Abbas, alias Hush Puppy. The American court has issued a warrant of arrest for Abba Kyari, even though Kyari has denied the allegations raised by Hush Puppy. The police authorities here in Nigeria are investigating the case. Now, on September the 1st, 2019, this program warned about the dangers of organized crime infiltrating Nigerian security agencies. We raised this issue again following the inability of the nation to resolve some of the security challenges confronting it, many of which Nigerians believe that in normal circumstances, the Nigerian security agencies should be able to overcome them easily. Is Nigeria's unending security challenge what Sheikh Mohammed Gumi has said, or is it what Abacha authoritatively also has said?
The present Nigerian federal government has insisted that the Nigerian judiciary is corrupt. This position justified its use of security agencies to raid the residence of a number of judges in the first term of the administration. Many Nigerians objected to the disgrace and crudity which the government applied in addressing its perception of corruption in the judiciary. The present Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Mohammed, a beneficiary of the cleansing process in the judiciary, seems to agree that the Nigerian judiciary has a corruption challenge. He says he's focusing on addressing the ugly situation. Many Nigerians, however, look at corruption in the judiciary as simple buying and selling of judgments. That may be so. There is, however, a worse danger.
The scenario will be a country, the word banana republic will be a joke. Any government that wants to survive must make sure that the judiciary and her independence as an institution is sacred, is protected.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan, at the peak of the Boko Haram insurgency, told Nigerians that Boko Haram was in the judiciary, in his cabinet, in the police, and even in the undercover security agencies. The APC, as an opposition party, then dismissed his observation as the postulation of an incompetent, low-witted, and clueless president. They sold that position to Nigerians and won election. They have since discovered that Jonathan spoke from fact. Today, Boko Haram elements get away from the courts with a slap on the wrist, even as the nation is treated to a circus of financial corruption trials. However, a more dangerous dimension to the corruption infiltration of our institutions by criminally minded persons and groups seem to have been exposed by the case of Alhaji Hamisu Bala Wadume, the Taraba State kidnap kingpin. As the Inter-Security Agency Investigation Panel, ordered by President Muhammadu Buhari, completes its assignment, facts have emerged that both military and police personnel were complicit in the organized kidnapping by Wadume. His operations beyond kidnapping also extended to running arms which were supplied to other criminal gangs.
What does it portend? What it portends is disaster. That's what it portends. If a kidnapper is mentioning names of people who are security agents, because that's what they are, in his payroll, and nothing happens to those security agents, the public were not informed of the resolution publicly, then we have a problem.
What are Nigeria's existential threats today? They include insurgency represented by Boko Haram, aggressive and expansionist external interest, the Fulani militia and land grab problem, multinational oil interests who undermine Nigeria's national economy, and drug barons. Should these hostile interests infiltrate the Nigerian security agencies the way Wadume got into the military and the police and the Nigerian judiciary, the way the present government has alleged, or the way former President Goodluck Jonathan spoke about the ubiquity of Boko Haram, where will Nigeria as a nation be?
It is making it very distasteful in the mouth, and as you reflect over it, that the Nigerian army, the Nigerian military, the Nigerian police force that are renowned to providing excellent services are now embroiled in such a mess like we are now dealing with. We have to be very careful on regaining the integrity of our security agencies and security agents. Let us not reach a plateau where a security man or a law enforcement officer, because that's what they are, will be talking to a citizen, and the citizen will look at him or her as nothing. Because if we reach that level, that means there is no longer government.
Nations paint scenarios some 50 to 100 years ahead as a means of stitching in time to save nine. It may yet be morning for Nigeria, but the truth is that cultism has bettered in Nigeria's institutions in an organized manner. Today, belonging to cults secures you position of power in Nigeria, even in the security organizations. If Boko Haram, kidnappers, drug barons, human traffickers, and external interests do the same, Nigeria will only remain a storm of its prospects, because organized crime would have hewed away all the trunk and foliages that make the country the shelter and hope of the black man. That would be a regret which generations may not forgive.
The Nigerian police says it is investigating the indictment of Abba Kyari by the American court. A number of Nigerians are already skeptical about the outcome of the investigation. There seems to be good reason for their skepticism. After all, it is in the police that one of their own, Ibrahim Lamorde, was hounded out of the EFCC on account of allegations of not being above board in managing the affairs of the anti-graft agency. And no Nigerian knows the outcome of that case. Today, Lamode heads the intelligence unit at the police force. Now, who knows the end of Magu's case? Has Evans, the billionaire kidnap kingpin, real name Chukwudi Onamadike, been prosecuted after he warned that his prosecution will open a can of worms on the complicity of security operatives and high-profile Nigerians in the kidnapping business? And on January 26, 2020, this program warned about the consequences of the system creating a culture of impunity.
As Nigeria enters a new decade in its journey to a fair, free, and equitable nationhood, can it be contemplated that situations in which the king is the state should exist? Should there be Nigerians who spin intrigues, wield power of even life and death, and undermine the functioning of institutions? If a semblance of these situations is playing out, could Nigeria be said to be enjoying a democracy? In setting our national agenda for 2020 and into the next decade, there is a need to address the foregoing questions, especially as they affect the administration of criminal justice in the country. For whatever reason, Nigeria's high-profile billionaire kidnap kingpin Chukwudumeme Onuamadike, alias Evans, was arrested on June 10, 2017 by some of the nation's best-trained police operatives, has remained in prison custody without serious efforts to prosecute him. Information from frustrated police operatives indicate that Evans has boasted that prosecuting him will unravel the high-level involvement of some prominent government and security operatives in the network of crime in the country. This may be empty talk, but failure by the police to effectively prosecute Evans 3 years after his publicized arrest presents a case of institutional incompetence or a compromised system. The issues raised by the lack of seriousness in prosecuting Evans assume a reduced significance when compared to the case of the Apple 6 young Nigerians murdered on June 7, 2005 by senior police officers. Today, the highest-ranking police officer implicated in that murder works for the governor of Kaduna State after escaping from justice. It is a case of what many refer to as system protectionism for some set of Nigerians, no matter what crime they commit. On August 7, 2018, operatives of the Directorate of State Services DSS, on the orders of its Director General Musa Daura, attempted to topple the National Assembly, a democratic arm of the Nigerian government. That act of trying to forcefully take over an arm of the government, which is treasonous, remains unresolved, while the offending officer has gone home with a slap on the wrist. As if these cases should not shock the nation into interrogating the situation that allows this to exist, on August 6, 2019, some soldiers operating in Taraba State shot and killed 3 of Nigeria's finest undercover police operatives who had successfully arrested a millionaire kidnap kingpin, Hamisu Bala Wadume. The soldiers then set Wadume free. It transpired that Wadume, some military and police officers were working hands in glove in a crime network that was spinning millions of naira for them. As of today, even after a presidential panel indicted some of the military and police officers, the military has refused to release those military officers for prosecution. Wadume is yet to be prosecuted because of the failure of the military to cooperate. Such protectionism puts to doubt the promise by the military high command to ensure that soldiers are accosted by the governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, while extorting money from thousands of innocent travelers on the Damaturu-Maiduguri road will be fished out and punished. Apart from the horrors of the Boko Haram attacks on these hapless Nigerians, the soldiers further dehumanized them, taking away from them even that which they could barely afford. There is the likelihood that the military will protect those soldiers. Cataloging these cases, which may just be a tip of the iceberg, is to draw the attention to our national, political, security, and general establishment leadership that those who work to allow this situation to continue and thrive are a potent threat in our journey to nationhood. Every crime successfully covered up is impunity watered, and blossoming impunity is just cyclic. It goes around. Those perpetuating this impunity today may tomorrow be the victims whose attempt to claw at human rights will get a deserved answer. Those who bring home ant-infested wood must be prepared for the lizard. This may yet be morning, and Nigeria can change course in its criminal justice administration and make it beneficial for Nigerians, our democracy, and our journey to true nationhood.
Now, last week, the National Orientation Agency raised expectations that the present government may have, after all, realized the need to tackle impunity, political misbehavior that undermines citizen trust and confidence in governance, and emerging disinterest in patriotism. The agency launched a 5-year work plan to engage with these issues. But can the agency walk the talk? And can the government cast its vote for a shift in political behavior? This is the subject of our interview today with the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Dr. Garba Abari. Please stay with us.
This is SignatureTV.org.
Breaking the news. Following the news. Analyzing the news. 247 round the clock. All on the go. SignatureTV.org. News in your pocket.
Officer of the law. Banker or worker. Let me give 100 naira. Go dey tip the money. If I say I go come out to head.
If I see person wey eat pension money, I go carry my check for am.
Well, let me welcome you to the conversation segment of the Signature Show. Now, last week, Wednesday, the National Orientation Agency launched their second strategic plan. In other words, their work plan for the next 5 years. For me, that's a little bit audacious in the sense of the issues I'm going to raise this afternoon. So my guest this afternoon is the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Dr. Barry. Dr. Barry, you're welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Njoku. Good afternoon.
I used a word that the launch of the strategic 5-year work plan is audacious. Why am I saying so?
Well, if you call it audacious, yes. Some call it bold and courageous. We are taking our work plan to the public domain for a broad spectrum of stakeholders to engage with, to interrogate, to criticize, to make input, all with a view to farming it up and to make the work of the National Orientation Agency, especially at a time like this, more responsive to the needs and more responsive to the challenges of the moment.
Let me take from what the representative or the vice president said at the launch. Two things. He said that the battle is for the heart and soul of Nigeria. And he said, some people seem to be losing faith in the Nigerian project, Nigerian enterprise. Let me also quote you. You did say that there were challenges, including the failure of the political class to play by the rules. You also acknowledge that some people are being separatists in their disposition. Are you conscious that at the end of it all, this document you are making available to the public, you will be judged by it, to what extent you have delivered? If you are conscious, are you confident that you redeem at the end of the day?
The whole idea of unveiling the document is to say to the public that this is what I pledge to do.
You pledge.
This is what I pledge to do. But in this pledge, I also want you to enrich this pledge. And with the sincerity with which we are now unveiling it, we would say, at the end of the day, judge us by what we have presented. This is the idea.
That's the idea.
This is the idea.
But
and I want to be held
good
and be judged by what is contained therein.
Great. Doc, people say Nigeria's challenges are like a supertanker, and it requires a laborious and time-consuming effort to turn this supertanker around. Today, within the Nigerian political terrain, people come to office by undermining the rules. They're in the office. People come to positions by currying favor. They're there. People are losing faith in those leadership that didn't come there by merit. How are you going to be able to turn this supertanker?
Well, a very loaded question, a very, very loaded question, Mr. Njoku, but I want to take it from two perspectives. There is first the institutional responsibility. And by institutional responsibility, I mean the responsibility of institutions that are charged principally with the responsibility for leadership recruitment. There is, on the other hand, societal responsibility. The responsibility of me and you and she and he and them and we. Now at the institutional level of responsibility, only yesterday, the National Orientation Agency held a round table with all the political parties in the country. I want to say all, even though not all attended. I want to say all, even though not all attended. But the idea was to bring all, including the leading opposition and the ruling parties, to come together and have a dialogue on first how to address the fundamental challenges that we find ourselves or that are confronting our politics and our political processes. The issue of how to define the democratic space, expand its frontiers, institute a leadership recruitment mechanism that is credible and can throw up credible representatives at different levels of responsibility, mobilize the citizenry, and by extension, every other person and every other player, institutional and human players, towards a democratic process that engenders free, fair, credible election, will bring about a leadership that is responsive, responsible, transparent, and accountable, and a citizenry that will be up and doing and will learn to hold their respective leaders at different levels to account. Now, if this is what, for example, we need to do or to start in an attempt to turn around the supertanker, I think this is a modest starting point. And we think we can do that. But it does not stop only at the level of the round table. Because if it is a round table that holds in Abuja and it does not cascade to the states and to the local governments and to the communities, perhaps it is not deep enough. But we are worried. I am personally worried. As the head of an orientation agency, I am worried.
Dr. Barry, I'm looking at page 10 of this document that details the vision and the mission and the core values towards which we are working. I just want a little education here. The vision says a Nigeria governed properly with active citizen participation. Is it a new synthesis or a subsisting mission from the old times? And your mission is to mobilize, enlighten, and reorientate citizens to participate in governance and development with positive values. And you detail the values: democracy, religious tolerance, patriotism, integrity, peaceful coexistence. 5 of them.
Yeah.
Incidentally, with all due respect, Doc, these are what are lacking within today's Nigerian polity.
I don't want to say all of them are lacking. Recent studies seem to suggest that 70% of Nigerians, 70%, and this is great, that is A, believe they are Nigerians. 70% believe they are Nigerians. Perhaps the remaining 30% believe they are something else, but at the end of it, they end up still saying they are Nigerians. But in terms of their prioritization, that is 1, 2, and then Nigeria. But 70% say Nigeria first. It tells you that there is something actually amiss in what we are communicating. That's one. There is what among the 5 that you now talked about. Self-reliance, patriotism, yes. Where 70% feel they are Nigerians, others feel they are Nigerians, but they are not Nigerians enough because Nigeria has not done so much for them as to make them
Feel fully Nigerian.
Fully Nigerian. And we don't blame them, because the reality of the situation dictates that response.
We've identified a number of challenges. You are an intellectual. You have your intellectual community. Are you interrogating the cause of the present element? Because in identifying the cause, we would have solved the problem halfway. If we keep focusing on this, the thuggery in our Nigerian politics, the absence of integrity, the loss of faith, and which you are now trying to rebuild. Have you asked, you and your colleagues in the intellectual community, have you looked at it? Let us establish the foundation of this problem. What is causing this? Have you identified that?
Yeah, but I've already identified the collapse in values.
No, what caused the collapse?
Yeah, because I also have spoken to you about the changing nature of the environment. But then, look at the issue of integrity that you have just mentioned now. And look at the way we as citizens respond to the conduct and the behavior of our leaders. And how we respond to various levels of governance. At the national level, Buhari has done this, Buhari has done that, the budget is this, the budget is that, the minister has done this, the minister has done that. Tell me one individual, one governor in this country that is being subjected to the same kind of criticism that the press, that when Onochia's case was brought about as a nominee of Mr. President to the INEC, see the hue, see the cry, see the role that the civil society and the other different segments of the society had brought in until when the president had to back down on that. Tell me a single governor that will make an appointment in this country and the citizens of the state will rise up against that and that will make him change. Just tell me one. Or a local government chairman. So we have democracy at the national level. We have absolute dictatorship at the subnational levels. Now, so these incongruences are all what aggregate and cumulatively impact on the issue of fight to entrench integrity in government and in governance.
Dr. Barry, please, let me ask you, what level of collaboration are you expecting or are you getting presently from other agencies? And let me tell you why I'm asking you that question. When we make this bad behavior costly by sanctioning it, it will become progressively unattractive to some venturesome young men, the new entrants, the police, the DSS, agencies of state that sanction bad behavior. What level of cooperation and collaboration are you having with them so that you don't work in vain? Because after preachment and that bad action is still paying those who acted badly, and there's no deterrent sanction, new entrants will come in because it pays and nothing happens.
We are not lacking in the requisite laws. We are not. We are not lacking in the requisite laws.
Yeah, but what of
we are not lacking in
enforcement
sanctions
and collaboration?
We are not lacking in. We are not lacking in the laws. Actually, that punish infractions. What we are lacking is the political will to impose the sanctions on infractions. And the reason is simple. Because impunity has been allowed to persist over the years. Gradually, it is getting more and more seated comfortably.
To become a culture.
To become a culture. So, the responsibility of an orientation agency is like that of a pastor or an imam, to continuously be reminding people about the harshness of hell and the beauty of paradise. We all know what we need to do to go to hell, and we all know what we need to do to go to heaven. Whether you are a Christian or a Muslim. But a pastor is there on the pulpit and will continuously be reminding you about the virtues of good behavior, of being godly, of the virtues of godliness, the imam will be there to remind you consistently. Every day we hear this, every day we hear this. Some will hear through the left ear and it goes through the right. Some will hear from the right and goes through. But then, as they keep hearing every day, If it goes through the right ear before it passes to the left, it stays halfway in the middle until when it gets settled fully. This is what the job and orientation agency is. Consistently reminding us about this and this and this, the essence, the beauty of togetherness, of love for neighbor, of love for country, of the opportunities that abound in this country, of the fact that this country is so an accident, irrespective of anybody that will tell you about the mistake of 1914. There is no mistake. Long before 1914, there has been Nigeria, even if it is so in the way and manner we call it today. So this country is not actually an accident of history or whatever, you know. So the beauty of togetherness, the beauty of harnessing in our various respective barriers and respective opportunities that abound in the land, the beauty in our mosaic cultures, you know, tradition, diversified dressing and the cuisine, and the environment, and the weather, and the climate conditions, and the beauty that lies in our numbers, in our ingenuities as Nigerians, in our entrepreneurial spirit, in our neighbor-said spirit. This is what we keep doing. But we also need people to come and support this narrative.
Dr. Barry, that honestly brings me to my last two questions. But first, what is the level of buy-in of the government into this, your vision and your mission, and the task you have at hand? What is the level of buy-in? And when I say government, I don't just mean the executive. I include the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, because there need to be total buy-in into what you are doing. If not, there are too many stumps along the way.
I don't want to be categorical in how to respond on this, but I think if you talk of government, I refer to it in the sense of government in its totality. Government in its totality. What is the buy-in of how much of a buy-in of this totality into the strategy document? There is no one that will read the strategy document and will not be in agreement with it. No one. No one.
Thereafter, after agreeing?
No, after agreeing, now becomes another bottle of fish altogether. But I want to believe that after agreeing, there will be conscious, deliberate, calculated attempts to actualize it. Because we need it now more than we ever needed it in the past. This is my take on that.
Dr. Barry, you're optimistic that they could buy into it. But one of the participants at the launch said something he took from a street saying. Soup was sweet, na money kill 'em. I've diligently been going through this. I'll still keep studying it because we'll raise other issues subsequently. You need money to do this. You need funding to do this. I heard you speak to stakeholders, agencies of government, collaborators, NGOs, development partners. But the head is the Nigerian government. That you and I have agreed ought to buy into this, and you said if they read it, they will agree. We have not resolved what they will do next. How are you going to fund this and make us not just see it as an intellectual exercise that does not produce something?
so many sources of how to go about it.
I'm talking about the money.
First, I want to agree with you that we need funding and sufficient funding to do this. But mind you, it has not lost out on us. And we are only one agency of government. And the government has so many competing agencies. And it has so many competing priorities. So, the idea first of putting in place such a policy document or a strategy document is for government to say, or for government in its totality to see that the job of the orientation agency goes far beyond the development of jingles on television and the radio and the recital for billboards and what have you. But that it has a job that is big, humongous, and therefore will require more than what it is being given at the moment to execute. So, Gamma will look at this. And we feel whoever wants to support will know that at whatever level you are putting what they say, your money where your mouth is. That's one. We have donor agencies that we invited to have a look at this. Some of the issues that have been brought into the strategy document directly relate to what donor agencies are doing. Directly relate to what donor agencies are doing. We are not saying that they are channeling the funds to the wrong hands or into the wrong hands, but we are saying, but perhaps more cost effectively, some of these funds can come this way. But before you get convinced that you could deploy these resources cost effectively, have a look at what we intend to do with it. You may not even have to give us the money direct, but looking at this, you will say, yes, we are going to key into this, we are going to key into that. Now, the organized private sector has a role. A society that is peaceful is an added advantage to the private sector, because where there is no peace, there will be no market. Where there will be no market, where there is no market, it will make no sense for any manufacturer to produce. And therefore, a peaceful, quiet society with high level of integrity is definitely a society that every investor would wish to invest into. So, there are actually so many platforms, but government is key.
Well, government is the key. Investors, I said it last Sunday in our 10-minute opinion, that when society is peaceful, the private sector blossoms. Well, the conversation never ends. My name remains Mwabweze Njoko. Can we meet next Sunday? Good afternoon. Well, that's our package for this Sunday. Kindly remain with us as we bring a corruption story, which today is a story of how one man's children became that of another man just by buying affidavit, and how a foreign affairs officer bought a fake husband to go on foreign posting. My name is Mwabweze Njoko. Good afternoon.
My people, we don't carry come again for another corruption tori, your ogbonge corruption fighting program. For this program, we dey try support the work of government and their agencies, non-governmental organizations them, and all the groups and stakeholders them where they seriously put hand, they try fight make Nigeria for better through the matter of to kill corruption before it go kill us through. My people, una welcome. Corruption tori dey supported by MacArthur Foundation. We now gonna salute for the support. Una dey try well. For we corruption tori today, we go see say nobody really like this matter wey they call corruption. Whenever they expose corruption matter for anywhere, una go notice say everybody wey the matter touch, they go sharply they wash their hand comot. Even people wey join chop inside the mago money, they go run, they go wash hands, say they know they part of them. Our people they talk say if evil spirits stand gidigba say he no they fear anybody, then why they waka for night or only inside darkness? Why no they come outside for light? Well, now we case for corruption to read this Sunday. Now we won't put hand, put mouth to so matter we carry everybody go find black soap, they wash their hand come out when katakata burst. I beg, tanda with us. Winston Chuks Obikwelu na country person from Anambra State and na Esquire lawyer im be. Winston get wife Emmanuela Odinaka Obikwelu wey be Amadi before she marry. Dem join born 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls. Emmanuela na staff of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. E get one time for 2012 wey their marriage jam rock, wey dem get serious problem wey no gree collect settlement. Emmanuela papa Oga Gordian Amadi, wey im eye don go blind before, come chook mouth for the matter, side with im daughter, say no be she get fault. So people go hear that one now, come talk say before uncle, who him go side with again? But now for here, egusi soup kuku spoil begin hiss. The man and his daughter carry biro begin write petition complaint, give the Department of State Services, DSS for short, the presidency, the head of service, the Minister of Information, and National Video Census Board for where Winston been dey work that time. Say this young lawyer wey just get work for presidency, say him na Boko Haram informant, and him dey use presidency letterhead paper take do mago employment letter give people, say him dey even live life wey pass him salary. Police carry matter go do investigate, come see say evidence no dey, and e get as all this accusation no come jail with theirself. Police and lawyer Winston come kuku drag him wife and her papa go magistrate court for Wuse Zone 6 with charges of lie informate, criminal join body, and serious lie on top another person head wey dem dey call defamation. While this case still balance for court, Winston Obikwelu come get one coded informate say im wife dey do mago to make sure say dem post her comot for Nigeria for her job. He sharply carry im own biro, write letter give Ministry of Foreign Affairs, say their staff get criminal case for head o, dem ignore this in letter for ministry.
Foreign Affairs no gree talk through. They come there because na so they do for that place. They no gree talk through. They come they cover one of their own because the thing where they happen for Foreign Affairs no be one man person they do am now. The thing is like it be like chain, you know. So the conspiracy did too much within that Foreign Affairs. Now, as they know, we can't do the matter. The matter dey for Interpol, the matter dey for ICPC. So we can't follow rule of law. As we they wait for COVID-19 to be over. We come here say my wife don't die.
Tori come well when Winston wife Emmanuela show with another man say na her husband be that. The new man Emmanuela Iladion from Edo State where they sell engine oil for roadside come appear say him name na Winston Chuks Obikwelu. He carry the state and local government area from where the original Winston from come say na him be him own.
My wife where carry them go there where they work there, carry another man, join body, say na the man will be me. The man come they answer my name. They answer from the same state. Say he come from the same state where I come from. He come from that's Anambra State. He come from my local government Dunukofia. He come from my town Ukulu. You know. So now him be the thing. The thing come time me. I say how me go there alive? I never die yo. Another man they say na him be me. And I complained to Nigerian Foreign Affairs. I can't write letter to minister. I can't write letter to permanent secretary. They no want to take an action. They just leave it like that. And the same man where would they talk now? Government of Nigeria they pay her money. They pay her money as a husband of a diplomat.
Tori still tie old rapper wear sunshade on top wowo face when the fake Winston wey im real name na Emmanuel Iladion and Emmanuela herself come show face say dem be the parents of the 4 children wey Emmanuela born for the original Winston for inside their marriage. Dem carry go Nigeria Immigration Service for Abuja, swear affidavit come sef. The Immigration Service come issue passport for the entire family with this fake husband. As dem collect passport, Emmanuela carry the 4 pikins travel go Caracas for Venezuela as staff of the Nigerian mission to that country under her job. This story carry handbag and food flask when issue come add say the original Winston get information say one of im pikins don die. But im wife travel comot with 4 children. But instead of the 2 boys and 2 girls wey dem been born, she carry 3 girls and 1 boy travel. E happen say the 4th pikin na actually the pikin of the roadside engine oil seller wey come act as fake Winston, come do passport with Emmanuela, come still travel go with them go the Caracas for Venezuela. Issue now be say why Ministry of Foreign Affairs no chook mouth do investigate of the petition say one person thief the identity of the husband of one of their staff to come even travel comot with the family of the person wey get the real identity.
The ministry dealt with the next of kin, and that is all. So the letter he wrote and everything concerning what happened, the minister ministered to the relevant division and they advised him as appropriate. We are not interested in what happened there. What we are interested in is that the woman had a next of kin, and when she passed on, the ministry dealt with the next of kin. Issues relating to custody of a child, this and that, are purely the business of the families. Meanwhile, are you aware that the matter is in court? Good. So, because I was able to even link up with the father of the deceased, who is in custody of and my reason for linking up with him is to find out, who are you? And are you actually in custody of these children? He said he's actually in custody of children. The other thing she said will be there for them to decide in court.
If the matter dey court and the ministry no wan comment put, oya, what of the Immigration Service wey carry passport give fake husband with another person name and identity?
But for us as service providers, I think we limit for the purpose of the fundamental rights of individuals. Our knowledge base, our professional background based on the documents you present, because for a very good reason, there is no reason doubting the integrity of any document presented by an individual who wants to be given a bona fide document that is traceable to him or her. For a very good reason, there's no reason why you should doubt a court affidavit, because the court of every nation is expected to be a body that should be respected, a body that has integrity, a body that has honor, and a body established by government, you understand, to be able to justify the integrity of the nation. Because the judiciary is supposed to be the integrity base of the nation. So if any document emanates from any of the law courts, to us is believed to be genuine, unless proved otherwise.
For May 2020, Emmanuela Obikwelu go join Baba God for yonder, leave oga fake husband and children for that same Venezuela where them dey. The 3 pikins wey she born for the real Mr. Winston, them return them back to Nigeria. Matter of who go get custody of the children dey for court now. Meanwhile, with the death of Emmanuel Iladion, aka fake Mr. Winston, return come Nigeria, land enter police hand where they wait for am for Iwe airport, sake of the identity thieving wey he do, plus including charges of human trafficking and other magorish things.
This na corruption tori.
Corruption tori news in the week. Una dey see this kind tori wey dress up go party. How fake Winston take get affidavit wey e fit change im name, im state of origin and even local government? Which kind affidavit be that? We come here say him tell them when he wan get the affidavit say fire burn all im document, whether for road accident fire or any kind fire, wey police report wey go support that talk. Even if e dey possible make person lost everything wey get im name for any kind accident. How? This kind affidavit matter, e don come dey be like say e dey make corruption dey go smooth and well. E mean say person fit wake up go swear say na him get this building where I stand so, but fire don burn the papers abi? How dem dey even collect this affidavit for Nigeria sef? My people, wahala be like fake husband and Nigerian affidavit. Next week we go show una how dem dey take buy husband, how you fit even take die on paper sef as you dey alive, so you fit to get am through this anyhow affidavit matter. Abeg no miss us for next week. My name na Ufoma Eguriase. Till we carry come again next week, abeg make una dey jeje o. Una bye bye.